Hi, how are you? It's Joshua Roy. Today I was speaking with a group of young people. When I say young, they're a group in between 18 and 30 years of age. And we were talking in a discussion about identity and how important it is to know who we are. To know who we are. And one of the comments came up about speaking kindly to others. And straight away a verse popped into my mind, and this is a verse that I memorized many years ago. In fact, I have something between 30 to 50 perhaps poems in my head, and I just pulled out one of these poems because oftentimes somebody will say something and I'll think of something and suddenly there's a poem there in my mind. And so here's the poem. It goes like this: drop a pebble in the water, just a splash and it is gone, but there's 100,000 ripples circling on and on and on, spreading from the center, moving on out to the sea, and there is no way of telling where the end is going to be. Drop an unkind word or careless. In a moment you forget, but there's little waves are flowing and there's ripples circling yet. And perhaps in some sad heart, a mighty wave of tears you've stirred and disturbed a life once happy ere you dripped an unkind word. But drop a word of cheer and comfort, just a flash and it is gone. But there's 100,000 ripples circling on and on and on, bearing hope and joy and comfort on each splashing, dashing wave, until you wouldn't believe the volume of that one kind word you gave. You see, when we know who we are, when we have a correct identity of ourselves, when we understand the value of who we are and what we can offer the world, when we get that, when we really get that, then we're not going to want to use our words to hurt others, to deflate them, to disempower, to cause them to be less than they are. In fact, we're going to use our words to lift, to encourage, to motivate, to empower, to lift. We're going to use our words in such a positive way that we will help them to be the very best that they can be. And so it's so critical, first of all, that we know who we are. And secondly, that we speak in such a way to touch, move, and inspire others, to lift them, to help them, to love them. Let us remember that our words are powerful. What you speak, the words you speak are so powerful and critical. Please speak kind words. I invite you to do so. I invite you to make a focus this day, this week, to speak kindly. When you see somebody doing a good job, tell them. When you see somebody that looks particularly nice, that looks particularly well, whether it be a woman who's dressed up and dolled herself up, whether it be a man, I'm not talking sleazily. We know those sleazy comments. No, this isn't sleazily, but a sincere compliment from the heart, not from the lips. Sincere compliment. Or if somebody's been looking after themselves and I like seeing a man that's very strong and muscular. That shows me that he cares about his body, he cares about who he is. And I will compliment that person. But that's not the only compliment. If somebody does a nice gesture, if somebody does an act of service, if somebody is kind to others, why not tell them that we recognize and notice what they're doing? Talk to somebody, let them know that we notice their generosity, that we notice the goodness of their heart, that we notice how much they love their family, how much this person loves their spouse or their children. Sincere compliments carry so much weight. I remember a story from my mother who saw the name tag on Mr. Whippy, and while Mr. Whippy was giving ice creams out, she started conversing with him, talking to him, being kind to him, saying how wonderful it is that he's doing the job that he's doing. And the funny thing was that her ice cream was twice as big as everyone else's ice cream. Being generous, being kind, being sincere is worth its weight in gold. So be like that. Be that way. Give sincere, honest compliments wherever possible. And notice the ripple effect that happens. Notice how people's lives are better from having you in them. And I'm grateful to be in a world that is kind, where there's so many people out there looking to lift, to love, to help others move to the next level of empowerment. Remember, your commitment to yourself should be to discover who you really are. Unlock your incredible self and unleash it on the world.